What's up, everybody? Another wonderful Monday night of Chewin the BBQ Fat. Holy smokes! What happened there? Forgot my line. Man, I hope y'all are all doing well. I just walked in the door. Wow. So such a struggle for us over here at the house here with the Jarvis household. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend, wonderful Thanksgiving. Got some Black Friday shopping in, some Cyber Monday shopping in. We've had sales, we've had deals. Man, what a wonderful time to get going and get ready for just the most incredible time of the year, Christmas. We've been Ellen and I. We ate a lot. We ate a lot of turkey. We ate a lot of ham. We did all that fun stuff, and we had a blast. Spent time with family. Had a wonderful time. Hope you all did too. If you got any questions, feel free to email me or Ellen or anybody else. But hey, right now, before we get started, share the page, like the page. Let's get this thing out there. I'm so excited. It has been a long time since I've had my buddy Greg on with RecTeq, and RecTeq has just been blowing up since we've been on. I'm sure if you cooked any contest at all, anywhere around the country, you're seeing RecTeq grills out there now, and they're taking over. They're taking over, and I love to see it. Couldn't happen to a better group of people. RecTeq also helped us with our contest. Thank you so much. But nobody wants to hear me talk. Everybody wants to hear Greg. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. What is going on, my man?
Man, I don't know if people want to hear me talk either, so it's okay.
Oh, shoot, you are the man. What's up, Jason Hardy? How you doing? So we got Carrie on, Dean Henry. How y'all doing? Hope everybody has a good night. Like I said, share the page, right, Greg?
Absolutely, you got to drop those shares and give the thumbs up, and yeah, man, let's talk some barbecue fat right now. How was I didn't make it out to your contest a couple weeks ago, but I heard nothing but good things, and weather was cooperative, and yeah, we'll have to get out there next time.
Man, I tell you what, it was a blast, and I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but I think last week we were still dazed and confused about everything going on, and we've had a chance to recuperate just a little bit, get our head above water, and been able to. It was an awesome event. The weather got a little cold, on us on Saturday. About the time it was starting, people were coming in. It got cold and windy. So it is what it is. You know, it's November. You get what you get. But we had a great time.
For sure.
Looking forward to next year, RecTeq being out there with all their displays and their tents and everything. It's going to be awesome.
We'll bring the TV and have movie night, you know?
I love it. Friday night movie sponsored by RecTeq.
There you go. There you go. You heard it here. Atlanta barbecue store exclusive right here.
Oh man. So tell me a little bit about what's going on. I mean, because it's been a little bit since I've dropped the ball and haven't had you on in a while. Tell me what's going on at RecTeq since we've last talked.
Oh man, I don't know, like 17 barbecue academies. Countless events. You guys were at RecTeq Fest slinging some hot dogs, which was oh so much fun. We had Cole out there with his crown and cape, and hopefully we embarrassed the boys pretty good. But just busy. I mean, I think the last time we were on, we had I think we've released 2 new grills since then, so it's been a hot minute. We're coming off an amazing, Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday. And I mean, just like you guys, just orders, get them in, get them out. Our warehouse staff is just, absolutely slaying it this time of year, getting grills out left and right. And, thankfully the logistics guys and the shipping trucks are keeping on pace, and, no one's gonna have to wait a long time like in years past, which is super exciting. So they're working, I think 16, 18-hour days, getting it done. And, the least I can do is make them lunch or get some breakfast for them. But, they're there before I get there and they're after I leave. So, they have they're wearing the weight of the company of their shoulders. So congratulations to all those ladies and gentlemen in our warehouse, just crushing it.
Yeah. So you said you've had 2, and I'm going to come back to all this, what you just said. You just threw a lot out there. Can't wait to talk about all of it.
Well, it's actually 3 grills, Brian. 3. We've got 3 grills since I've been on the podcast last.
3.
Yeah, it was the 1250, that one right there, right? And then the 1070 is right there. And then the Bullseye X, which is actually in the vacant spot behind me, but I left at my mother-in-law's house. We made the turkey, so I gotta go pick it up. And her garage probably still smells delicious. But yeah, the Bullseye Deluxe, we just released a week before RecTeq Fest. So that's been shipping since the beginning of November, which is unbelievable. That grill gets over 1,000 degrees. So all of those, charcoal converts and ceramic cookers that say pellet grills don't get hot, shenanigans. That thing gets over 1,000 degrees. You can dial it back and smoke on it too,
So
which is super
let's
fun.
back up for those that don't know what the Bullseye is. The Bullseye is more your grill type, correct?
Yeah, it's like a kettle style grill. Yeah. So if you grew up cooking on charcoal, I mean, I grew up cooking on a Weber 22, and it was a blast, but it had limitations. So it was, the Bullseye is kind of that style of cooking where you have that direct fire. And in the pellet grill market, you do not have a direct fire grill, with the exception of that. It's super fun to cook on. I think we had a bunch of them out for Kids Q in your neck of the woods, over the last couple of years, and the kids have been enjoying them. And those were the OG. They were released in 2017, and then kind of got a revamp. The Deluxe features a really cool cart. It's got a front shelf, bigger hopper, a completely redesigned fire pot. I'm almost embarrassed to say I don't have it here tonight. I just for the record, I did get a late invite from the team at Atlanta Barbecue Store. So had I known a little bit, I'd gotten it back. But that thing has been fun to cook on. We've been prototyping that here at the house for probably about 8 months now, and super fun. You can smoke on it. You can basically cook anywhere from 200 to 500 in 25-degree increments. You can crank it up to 650, 750, or put it on riot mode, and it'll get 1,000 degrees. And yeah, it's good times.
So how often are you cooking at 1,000 degrees?
You know what? I clean the grill a lot at 1,000 degrees. Honestly, I think through my testing, I think 650 is like my sweet spot, whether it's steaks or fish, pizzas even. I mean, 650 for whatever reason, it's kind of that perfect balance of hot enough to get a sear, but not too not crazy hot where you're gonna burn stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fun one. And Carrie brought it out. Utah. We opened a second distribution and retail facility in Lehi, Utah. I mean, big things happening for us, and we could do without kind of all our friends and family out there, supporting the product and the brand. So, yeah, good times.
So
What's up?
650 on the new Bullseye.
Yeah,
that's almost like easy, right? Like that's just like it's there. You don't have it's controllable. Whereas in the other one, that's at the riot mode and it's really pushing to get there. But at 650 on the new one, you can make it. You can dial it in.
Yeah, so the OG Bullseye, the RTV 380 is not going anywhere. I mean, it's going to be a super affordable grill for the market for people to get into. So that grill is not going anywhere. I know there were some people thinking it was going away. Absolutely not. I mean, it's going to be a staple in our lineup for years and years to come. And that grill kind of, you could set it to 500 degrees or you could set it to riot mode. 750 depending on what pellets you were burning, but there was a good range in between that 500 and 750, and with the Bullseye Deluxe, the Bullseye X, we've kind of captured that and really given a little bit more control to the griller out there, which is fun. But yeah, right, I mean, I've cooked a lot of things at 1,000 degrees. I mean, reverse sear steaks, I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, it's good times. Good. You got to get your hands on one, man.
I'm going to. Don't you worry.
Christmas is coming up.
Christmas is coming up. So before we get into I want to talk about the 1250 next. The 1250 is basically the Mac Daddy 700, correct?
Yeah, so the 1250 is kind of the bigger brother to the 700 because, with a 36-inch barrel, there's a lot you can cook on that. And, adding a second shelf was a big change to the 1250. On the electronic side, it did see an upgrade with a dual brand router, so made connecting to the house and your home network super easy. And that way you could, connect to your router a lot easier. Had a different front folding shelf design on it. Had an outlet on the back because many people, not just have one RecTeq, but 2 or 3, and now you can kind of plug them into each other and only use one drop source, one power source outside, which is pretty convenient. Yeah, so the 1250 kind of saw a revamp there. Cast iron heat deflector, and again that grill would get 750 degrees. That one right? No, this side. My camera's back. That one right there, 750 degrees, which is crazy to think that that grill is solid stainless steel, really built, like a tank.
They're incredible.
Yeah, I mean, super good. And what's crazy about it is it can withstand the heat. So, a lot of competitor grills, if you've lifted lids and play with them, they can't get hot enough. And if they could, they would melt. Not that thing because it's built like a tank. And then the 1070, this way, see backwards, that one right there,
So this is what I
super
want to talk
swanky.
about next. So this is the one that if you have a outdoor kitchen and you have something all fancied up,
Yeah.
that's what you want to throw in there, correct?
Yeah, you can get it on the stainless steel cabinet like that. You can do a built-in. It's a 30-inch barrel. It's got a front hopper design. Still features 30 pounds because there are a couple. The built-in pellet grills has a small little Mel chute design where you have to navigate a little slot to fill the pellets. Not this thing. That thing will still get 750 degrees. It's got 2 shelves in there. Kerry Chastain's had one on the back of his rig for quite a while, doing really well with enjoying it for ribs and chicken and stuff like that. But yeah, tons of good food out for that thing. Tons of headspace. We did our sides on that. We did the turkey on the B380X. It was good times, man. Good times. You getting your bourbon ready?
I don't know what Ellen is. Going through. She says I have too many options to go through, so I don't know what's.
That's why you just drink crappy cold beer, man. That's it. The silver bullet, man. Taste the Rockies.
The mountains are blue, so they're ready to go. It's awesome.
But it's cool to see a lot of academy instructors in the chat juice. Jim Seeley, with some of our friends from the Kansas City area. The Smokin' Elvises came out with them as well. Super good guys out there. But Jim almost sabotaged his academy experience. We actually teamed up and we made a super team, Jim and I, and he decided he was going to dump the hog juice all over my new shoes. So
nice.
Yeah, it was good times. Good times. We cooked some good food. We had some good laughs. But those guys are just so much fun. Irwin's pit crew out of Kansas City. Him and his just good people. I mean, I think that was probably every academy is awesome, but that class was probably top 5. I mean, it was great people, good instructors, good. It was just good times. I mean, when you get to cook with your friends, I mean, there's not a bad day when that happens.
So, I mean, academies have grown a lot. I remember we announced academies on the show, I think. That was something that we talked about back in the day when we were talking about classes.
Yeah.
And we talked about your academies. Man, they have grown, and y'all have gotten – you've gotten the who's who of instructors out there to come out there to I know you got Lehigh also doing academies.
Yeah,
I don't know much about that yet, but
yeah, so we've got 8 classes at the Evans campus. We released those dates a couple months back, and they sold out in about 12 hours. So it was, 36 participants at 8 different classes. Super hands-on. We go through the ins and the outs of competition: brisket, ribs, chicken, and pork. And there are no secrets. And the funny thing about it is, pro teams don't take the class. It's all like Backyard Bob, and they're having a blast with it. And it's kind of fun because you talk about the who's who. GBA just announced their team of the year, and I think your good buddy Smoke Me Silly, Robert and Lex, they did a class with us a while back, and that was so much fun. And we've had teams from all over the country, whether it's Washington State or Kansas or Texas or everywhere. I mean, we just had a Robert Rocha with Bullhorn Barbecue come in from Texas, and then we had Jeff and Julie Stout with Smoke Me Silly come down from Wisconsin. So it's just fun. I mean, it's good times. Good times. We'll have to have you back. We'll have to have you back sometime soon, and maybe we'll have the boys teach everybody how to cook steaks.
That's awesome. They love it. Y'all know Cole and Micah. They just absolutely love it, and it's very much a family thing with all of us over here at the Atlanta Barbecue Store. But what it is an absolutely incredible opportunity to go do. Cook team, not cook team, whatever. I tell people all the time, like, man,
it's just fun.
It is a blast. It is an absolute blast. And it's just like Thursday night, crazy night. Friday is the is when you get a little bit more serious, and then Saturday it's game time too. And
I love Friday because I think people still don't know what to expect. Thursday night we demo a whole hog. We show people the our massive warehouse and facility. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, our headquarters sits on 80 acres, and the warehouse is about 700,000 square foot. So it's a really small building. And we break into a whole hog. We have a huge dinner, a band plays, and then you kind of you maybe have a drink or two too many, and then come in the next day and you're not ready for this. and you're diving into an A9 Wagyu brisket, and you're there, trimming it, injecting it, smoking it. And I always love it. It's like, for me, it's like 6:15, so we turn in kind of in backwards order, if you will. But brisket we turn in at 6, and pork we turn in at 6:30, and it's like 6:15. It's like after like they've eaten the brisket and they've eaten the burnt ends, and they're just like, I mean, their mind is just blown, and then they eat that thing called the money muscle. And like, if there's one game changer, it's not the brisket. It's not, the chicken or the ribs. It's that one bite of that money muscle that like changes their lives, and they realize they've been doing it wrong their entire life. Right. But I
Like, who
love
knew
it.
that you could get that out of a pork butt, right? Like,
Absolutely.
all you did was just
Yeah.
grind it
Yeah,
up,
just
whatever,
rip it all apart,
just take the
put it
pieces
on
and
a
keep it
Hawaiian
going.
roll and call it done.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing is when they go home, it within 30 days they're doing that for their friends and their family, and they're taking pictures and videos of their reactions and sending it in. That's the coolest thing, is them exposing their friends and family to what, kind of maybe we take for granted from week to week. I mean, you guys cook a lot more than, I don't. I mean, maybe I might help somebody cook twice a year, right? And for them to get that aha moment is really, really cool.
Really cool. That's awesome. So how many classes have y'all done so far?
Oh, to date, I don't know, maybe 20, 22 classes, somewhere in there. We had to cut 2020 short. We only did, I think, 6 that year. We did 8 last year. 8, yeah, so probably 22-ish classes, somewhere in there. It's fun. I mean, we had a running total. I got to update the board of how many briskets and people and how much meat we've cooked.
Right.
I mean, it's
Amazing.
it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, who would think that people would pay that kind of money, to come hang out and cook with us and learn barbecue? I mean, it's super humbling experience.
Well, the funny thing is you say all that money, it's not a lot of money. And
Well,
what you
so
end up getting
but
out of it.
for sure, like you go to some pro classes, I mean, you're spending, $1,000 a class, but are you really seeing what they're doing? Like, are you
At
getting
my
to do
class,
it and feel it? Like, you know what I mean? It's different, right? Like some classes you go and it's like, you go there, they maybe want to sell you some rub or injection or tell you what's the latest and greatest. You eat some food, but are you eating it in the moment, right? And oftentimes, when you're cooking a contest, maybe something doesn't go great or doesn't go right. It's how do you fix it in the last 15 minutes, right? Like how do you fix it on the board? And I think that's the biggest opportunity for like the backyard cook is, I'll be the one to tell you, like my food doesn't slap every time, right? There's times where I take it off and it's like, it's not really great. It's not bad, but like, what can we do to make it great? So like, it's that 15-minute thing that on the board that I think is the aha moment for the class, that it doesn't need to be perfect coming off the grill. It doesn't need to be perfect until it's ready to be served. And there's a lot of things you can do to stuff to kind of like, put your foot in it, if you will,
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Like that's what you're going to get at most of your classes too. Like, how do you fix it? How do you fix average barbecue?
Yeah. No doubt. That's all competition barbecue is it's the best average barbecue out there, know?
Yep. How do you make average barbecue good? Right. So what's this about the grass they keep talking about?
I have an amazing yard. Absolutely. I have the nicest, now it's a dormant Bermuda, but I've got a Kentucky Midnight, so I have green grass year round. My quiet time is cutting grass, and I'm okay to admit, like I'm a grass hole. Absolutely, like I don't mind coming home, cutting grass, and hanging out. Got nice stripes. They give me a hard time. It's my quiet time.
No, there's nothing wrong with taking pride in what you got. I love it.
Bunch of haters out there.
Bunch of haters.
No, we struggled. We cut down about 150 trees 2 summers ago. And we struggled with erosion issues, and like I couldn't grow squat in the yard, and it was just, I mean, it was all pine trees. So if anybody's known how to like grow stuff in that soil, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So it's been so much work. I mean, Father's Day last year, my buddy left his skid steer here, and we had a torrential like downpour, and like the kitchen I'm in was just covered in mud. Like mud was like coming through the yard, and I'm out with the skid steer digging a ditch around the kitchen to like not flood the pool. And yeah, it was not fun, but fun at the same time.
That is too cool. All right. So just curious, what is Black Friday like for RecTeq?
So Black Friday usually starts like a week or two ahead of time. We don't we have sales and promotions on grills, and it kind of depends on the time of year. Maybe we got a good promotion going on with portable grills around tailgate time, and summer for camping and things like that. So Black Friday for us, we basically do a thing where everything is basically 5% off up into a certain amount, and I think at $700 it changes to a 10% discount up to $1,300, and then it goes to a 15, and then over $2,000 goes to a 20%. But yeah, it's just, I mean, people just buying a second, third, fourth grill. Some people buying their first grill. And if any of them are watching today, welcome to the RecTeq family, because it's a lot of fun. And I'll say grab onto your bootstraps and hang on. It's going to be one heck of a ride as you kind of get better at things maybe you didn't realize you could cook.
Right.
But it starts a couple weeks ago, and we do some promotions. And I mean, like I said, the folks in the warehouse have just been absolutely slaying it the last couple weeks, and they've been working 16-hour days for at least, I think, 3 weeks now. I think we started our holiday promotion, our seasons of savings, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that'll go through. It might change a little bit through Christmas, but we'll keep kind of good exciting stuff going through the holiday season.
Yeah. So if you had to tell somebody that does not have a RecTeq, what would be the number one grill that you would recommend?
It's a great question. So I spent a lot of time in retail this last week, and I love getting up in retail selling grills. I always ask people, like, what do you cook, right? Like, are you wanting to learn how to smoke food? Are you wanting to learn how to do traditional barbecue, or are you a guy that just wants to like burn hot dogs, right? We got the grill for you. So I like to try to figure out, what are you cooking and how many people are you feeding? Because I don't want to, yeah, I would love to sell you the BFG. It's a $3,000, monster grill that can cook 30 racks of ribs. But does everybody need that? No, right? Because sometimes bigger is not always better, right? So what fits your family best? And more importantly, what fits your budget best? Because we got a bunch of different grills in kind of in lineup to facilitate with that. And that's kind of where I start is I want to fit the grill that's right for you and your family. So it's not, more than you need, and you're not wishing you bought something that you, don't fill up. But usually I kind of, start there. The 700 is still our number one seller. And I would tell people, don't just buy one RecTeq this season, buy two. I apologize to whoever the non-griller in the family is, because if they're watching the bank account, I'm telling you, just grab two, get you a 700 and a bullseye, and there is nothing you can't cook. Because I've got 6 grills here, and there's many times over the summer where all of them are on and full, and we don't have many people over. I maybe got ribs on one, brisket on another, chicken, maybe got nachos going, cooking at different temperatures and stuff like that. So you can never have too many grills. I mean, you had one of our trailers this past weekend, and it was probably full the entire weekend.
It was
And
awesome.
man, that was easy cooking pork like that. Like now you know what? Now you know why I don't mind cooking pork for 13,000 people.
It's
Like
not bad. Tell you
it
what, when
make
you have the
no
right tools
no
to do this kind of stuff, it's
for
not bad at
sure.
all. I mean,
Yeah, no.
it's when you don't have the right equipment and you don't have the right stuff, then you're working hard. I tell you what, there is, like, I mean, Greg just said it, there is something for everybody. If you're catering, they've got the big stuff. If you want just something for your house,
Yep.
they got that too. We made 4,500 hot dogs on 2 bullseyes.
And you could have served more if you guys just worked faster. I mean,
We had
I
Mark
had
all day.
plenty.
We had to get Mark off the pulled pork section, but
That's
other than
great.
that,
Well, but like that, but truly, that's what it is. I mean, like, we got that stuff prepped up, put it on the grill, and walked away. And I knew if people showed up, if 13,000 people showed up to RecTeq Fest this year, and all of a sudden we had no barbecue, like we would have a riot on our hands. Right. But no, we don't. We don't have a riot on our hands. We had a bunch of BFGs on our hands. So we had, pulled pork all over the deck for that. And yeah, it makes it easy when you don't have to like babysit it. Because if somebody was like, hey, Brian, you got to cook, pork for 13,000 people on drums, you'd be like, it ain't happening. Like, game over. Like, game, set, match. I'm out of here. And then to not have to, babysit it, to not have any waste, to know it's going to be ready when we need it. It's just, and 2 bullseyes cooked 4,500 hot dogs.
it's amazing.
Like that is insane, right? 4,500 hot dogs. I don't think Mark Weatherall with Maya Jane or Matt with Potts Barbecue will eat a hot dog again. Like
No.
Matt even said, so this is so funny. Before you guys get over there, it's probably like, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning. Matt's like, I'm gonna get started cooking hot dogs. I'm like, all right, man, you do that. He's cooking them and he's, breaking a couple in half and he's just eating them. I mean, he probably had eaten maybe 8 hot dogs by 10 o'clock in the morning. By 2 o'clock, he had a bunch of 4-letter words to say about hot dogs. It was great.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you what,
and
if I don't ever see another hot dog again, it'll be the best.
there was not enough yoo-hoo in the state of Georgia to make him eat another hot dog after 10 a.m. Like it wouldn't happen.
I mean, it was a blast though. I tell you what.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
more people like, what do you mean pork on a hot dog? I was like, just try
great.
it.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
So what's funny about that is that kind of started. I got some buddies and we host a disc golf event on property every Wednesday, and the Q dog was kind of like it started there. How do
Okay.
you make a hot dog elegant, right? You put about a pound of pulled pork on the top,
That's what I
and
did.
it's amazing. I mean, a lot of pork on a hot dog. But it kind of just elevates what a hot dog can be, and it's our thing. So, if we're gonna serve hot dogs, we're gonna have Q dogs. So it's again another way for us to, maybe show people, how you can kind of elevate the backyard barbecue to something a little bit nicer.
Yeah, because I mean, who wants just a hot dog, right? Like you're coming to RecTeq, you're not just
Mhm.
gonna get a hot dog. We're gonna jazz it up. We're gonna make it something that you're gonna go home and tell all your
Mhm.
neighbors about. And be like, man,
Yeah.
next time I make pulled pork, I'm gonna throw some hot dogs on, and we're gonna have a Q dog, and it's gonna be delicious.
Yep, and we got Tim Crawford in the chat over here
Yeah,
saying he made 13,000 pulled pork tacos. He didn't, right? They made 4,500 tacos like everybody else. But here's the really cool thing about that, right? And this is what
there's no line over there.
no, they were just they mailed it in, right?
I'm kidding.
So here's the coolest part about that event and what makes my job and working, for this company amazing. We had volunteers from the local culinary school. We had volunteers come in from all over the country, right? They got there early, they stayed late, no one complained, no one wanted to wander off. They do it because they love it, right? They love interacting with the people, they love interacting with their friends and family. I mean, and they don't complain, right? He made 4,500 tacos and didn't complain once. Like he might want to brag about making more tacos, but Tim, sorry, man, like I got to give him a little flack.
We ran out. We
But
ran
again,
out of food.
yeah, Tim came to our academy. I think it was 2 classes ago. Might have been the October class.
Okay.
And super nice guy. Has some amazing stuff he posts on his social media. And again, like it's all about for the love of food and barbecue. And
I tell you what, I
it's
would do it
cool.
again in a heartbeat for RecTeq. I mean, y'all have been awesome to us. Y'all have been. I mean, I feel like we have a great partnership with RecTeq, and
Mhm.
it's just absolutely incredible way to give back. And
Mhm.
what y'all do over there is amazing. I mean, you had live music. I haven't seen anything RecTeq has done that is not first class or all out. I mean, it's just amazing.
What's cool? I remember like the first barbecue academy we had was outside. It was in 2018. We had 275 participants. It was outside, Brian. Like it was the week. Let me think. It was the week before Banjo BBQ. No rain, no rain. Like had it rained, what would have happened? We had like 270 people cutting brisket in the rain. Like we had some tents and stuff, but like not like that. And then the week after that was Banjo BBQ, and that was like the slugfest that destroyed that field that
Yes.
everybody blamed us for. But it was like, no, our event was perfect. But yeah, there's always this weird sort of like energy around when we do events that it just works, right? Like, we've got an events director, Trey and Finger, and like his list for RecTeq Fest, so I think it was like 22 pages. I mean, there was not anything missed. He was outside like lasering, stakes to figure out where the tents and tables were going to go. So there were equal feet in between this. And I mean, it's like unbelievable that we have people that are so detail oriented to make it easy, because at the end of the day, everybody knows that they have confidence in, like they know I'm going to get the food ready. I know John and Jody are going to, MC the event, make sure like the scratch and dent sale is going on, that those people are rolling, that they can, keep the crowd entertained. All of our volunteers, whether they're barbecue, academy team or pitmaster teams coming in, if they're volunteers. I mean, we had, and talk about crazy, we had some forum ambassadors come in, and they run, private Facebook groups and whatnot. And Ray needed like 13 cars moved for the car show. And like Ray Carnes gave the keys to these classic cars to essentially a bunch of strangers and say, hey, just can you park my cars here? Like who does that?
Right.
Like, I would love to drive around like a 55 Chevy. Like, sign me up for that
Right.
job. So I think it's family, and it's fun.
That's awesome. All right. So tell me a little bit about Lehigh. I know you have another location in Utah. What happened that made y'all decide to go out there?
So the biggest challenge being in Augusta, Georgia is West Coast distribution, right? So we are the furthest away you could be from California, Oregon, Washington, and it would take freight maybe 10 to 14 business days to get to a location. And let's say, unfortunately, when you're dealing with freight, someone put the forks from a forklift through the front of your box, right? It shows up, you've waited 2 or 3 weeks for this grill, and now you got to send it back and get a new one. So, opening a spot in Lehigh really made sense that we could speed up our West Coast distribution and really get, products out there in 2 to 3 days. So, yeah, they sourced a facility up there. It's a gorgeous warehouse. I mean, Utah is truly God's country. It is. I mean, the valleys and the mountains and the views are just unbelievable. And the warehouse up there is, I think, about 60,000 square foot. There is a retail space. We'll have an academy area there as well. We'll do 4 classes there next year. We're going to kind of mix it up a little bit. The curriculum is going to be different. Instead of like a 3-day, barbecue extravaganza, they're going to be single-day classes. And the SCA, the State Cook-Off Association, is, I mean, I'll say exploding in that area. They're state cook-offs all the time. We hosted one. It was actually a double 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago. We had a chili cook-off as an ancillary, and we hosted an SCA event there. Had great feedback from everybody. So we'll host many more up there. And yeah, I'm excited. We'll have a class, I think, in March, June, and then yeah, it'll be more of the summerish months. Be good times.
That's awesome. That's one thing that Barbacoa Bandits. He says that he had cancer and he's able to use RecTeq instead of his big offsets. I mean, it's something that goes overlooked a lot in the ease of pellet grill, RecTeq, whatever.
Yeah.
If you do have the catering and you're used to the offset and you're used to all that, which is work, right? It is hard work.
Yep.
The RecTeq is going to take that over and do that for you. A lot of the hard work. You still have to do all the prep. You still have to watch it. You still have to cook. But that is going, especially like you talk about the BFG, that is something that's going to just take away that headache of working.
We've heard so many stories about folks that maybe had health issues that, were told they can't be outside cooking, they can't next to the heat, they can't lift up these, super heavy, offset pit doors, that, them getting the RecTeq found their love of food again, found their love of barbecue again. I mean, there was and I won't name names, but there was a customer, and I'd say he's a pretty good friend now, that was in just a bad headspace a couple of years ago. And it was our live shows. At this point, we were doing 2 live shows a day, just cooking this, cooking that, cooking here at my house, cooking Jody's house and John's house. And, these shows, all right, us acting like a bunch of clowns and fools cooking food, changed this man's life, like, for the better. That's crazy to me to think of, and I'm glad we could provide that, but I get goosebumps. I'm just a guy that likes to cook food, right? That's if I could do nothing but just cook somebody something to eat every day for the rest of my life, I am content and happy and, completely satisfied. And to know that we had an impact in somebody like that is just unbelievable. I mean, like I said, it gives me chills,
There's nothing better than knowing that you, your team, your friend, whatever, y'all change somebody's life for the better just by cooking and doing something that you love. You don't even realize it. I mean, I remember back when you were in the building before y'all are in now, it would stop by and y'all would do some of the live videos back on the back dock and everything. And I was like, man, this is so cool. And then to watch y'all grow and to see what it became on the, and I guess it was during COVID mainly when y'all were doing all those, the live videos of all cooking and everything.
So I actually this is so funny. I actually drove by that old facility not long ago. It was like a week or 2 ago. And it just looked, it didn't feel like home. It was just strange, but it was how cool would it be to and if the guy that runs that building now, the wood paneling in that back area, he left. and he's got a RecTeq, and he won't take it down. I'm like, that's pretty cool. But I would love to be like, hey, let's go have like a retro, throwback show over
Right.
there, and just for old time's sake. But that was, I mean, talk about, making moves. We would be in the back, screaming at a phone. We had no microphones. It was just like an iPhone, like 7 maybe at the time. What are we up to, like 15?
I know. Right?
Then we added mics and lights, and we had camera people. And now we've kind of gone back to more of like the microphones with phones and stuff. It's good times. So
Yeah, y'all have
Aaron Leslie in the house.
Oh yeah.
Man, he is the king of liquid smoke. Let me tell you, that guy. If he doesn't use a gallon of liquid smoke at a contest, I'd be shocked. Shocked.
Secrets.
I know, right? Yeah, he tried to sabotage my injection a couple classes back, but Aaron Leslie with Texas Oil Dust is a good dude. So yeah, good times.
Dean Henry asked, "Are your grills NSF approved?"
So our grills are not NSF approved, and a lot of that comes down to if we are a residential product. We don't have a product, even though let's say we can stand up to commercial use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our products will last the test of time. Paying for that credential really doesn't benefit us because we don't have other than the BFG. We're not marketed to the commercial market, but based on your local and regulatory agencies, some folks don't necessarily care if a product is NSF certified or see that sticker as long as it's clean, right? And I've seen some pits of barbecue joints, and they are disgusting.
They're seasoned.
No, they're disgusting. I mean, the chef in me cringes. But yeah, they're not, maybe it's something that'll happen down the road. But like I said, at this point in the game, the commercial market is not something we're kind of going into. We're definitely more of a residential product. But yeah, the BFG, like I said, I've got a fleet of like 13 in the deck we use for events, and those things will pump out some food for sure.
Amazing. It's amazing. So what's on the horizon for RecTeq?
Ooh, lots. I mean, always working on something. I would say that the really cool thing I think for us in the latter part of this year is we've really invested in the company and the people. So, we hired a CEO maybe 6-7 months ago. We've got I'll say a more diverse, more specialized operations staff. So, there's folks that specialize in logistics, and there's folks that specialize in packaging and more of, I guess, the behind the scenes stuff that can make us better and more efficient, so that we can continue to deliver a better product at a better price, at a better time frame to our customers. So that's kind of really cool is seeing those aha moments, because a lot of them were customers first. And they've cooked on the grills for years, and they join the team, and it's like, hey, this is how you really can do this. And that's pretty cool, because our new CEO cooked a brisket for Thanksgiving. So we were kind of talking him through that about a week before. And
how was it?
I mean, it's just cool. He said it was delicious. I mean, he was cooking a Wagyu, and it was injected and seasoned, and he followed the program to a T. And it was a brisket like no one's ever eaten. I'm like, cool. Like, that's what we're here for. So yeah, good times.
Isn't that the coolest?
Absolutely.
The CEO of your company now is out there learning to cook, right? I mean, it's just so cool to see all these.
Well, the fun thing is, like, even he's a griller at heart. Like, he loves to go outside and as we joke around, burn food. And his background was not grills, right? But again, it's always a passion in cooking and entertaining and socializing. Like, who doesn't want to just fire up a grill and cook something tasty? Like, it's so much fun to do, and it's easy to do, and it's rewarding. So yeah, I mean, it's especially when they come into the office, we feed them well. I mean, if anybody goes hungry around the office, you're not looking hard enough, because there is food everywhere. And again, everything is cooked on the RecTeq. We've got a stove for boiling water, but that's about it. If it's on property, it was cooked on a grill. And one of the fun things we're doing now, every Wednesday we do a We Cook Wednesday, both at Lehigh and the Evans campus. So about 12 to 1 o'clock, we do a live show, and it's kind of like a live Q&A. So obviously we did a bunch of stuff around Thanksgiving and turkeys. Jody did a great demo on some prime rib last Wednesday. John's going to take the helm this week. And we have about 40 or 50 people that show up and kind of hang out outside and talk food and eat samples and banter back and forth. And the fun thing about it is we kind of get the conversation started And then everybody that's there just starts, commenting and talking and engaging and socializing, and it's just fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
So tell, I mean, I know you. A lot of people on here know you as Chef Greg. Give a little bit of background about you and your background and what you bring to the table at RecTeq.
so I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So
Yeah.
I love it. So I mean, yeah, I'm a chef by trade. I ran restaurants and clubs, and I went to culinary school, and I got the piece of paper on the wall that says, I'm a chef, right? Um, but honestly, it was really the love of food and the passion. I got out of restaurants pretty early and got into country clubs because it was a much better quality of life. So I thought. It was better pay and had benefits, but I mean, this time of year you're working, probably from Halloween through the second week of January without taking a day off because you got parties and events and Christmas and holidays, and
Oh,
it was fun. I met a ton of people, cooked some amazing food, but I mean, it was a grind. But the fun part about it was they really invested a lot into me professionally. So, I mean, I took a lot of classes. I competed professionally extensively. I became a certified master chef. I was 33 years old, so that was pretty cool. My goal was 30. I missed it by a couple years, but 2015 was a big year for me. I was on the culinary Olympic team. We went over to Lyon, France, and cooked some stuff and finished second in that event. Later in that year, I was inducted in the American Academy of Chefs. It was basically the Hall of Fame, if you will, for culinarians. And then I got my certified master chef later on that year. So 2015 was a big year. I joined the RecTeq team about 5.5 years ago. At this point, I guess I was working in healthcare, so I was bettering hospital meals across the country, if you believe it or not. And it was a great job. I loved it, but the travel was nuts. I mean, I would be on, like 8 to 10 flights a week. It got to a point where I think about 3 years in, my wife quit asking where I was going because inevitably I would never be there. So I'd be like, yeah, I got to go to Los Angeles. And then all of a sudden I end up in like Worcester, Massachusetts. And she was like, I can't keep up. Our Life 360 app was nuts. But it was a fun, rewarding job, but it got too much of a grind. And I've got 3 kids. And unfortunately I missed out on kind of their growing up and stuff. And it was the right time to leave. And, I ended up kind of consulting with RecTeq. I cold called Ray on Facebook and said, hey, kind of in my best Liam Neeson voice, I've got a particular set of skills, and met with him and ended up leaving there with one of everything. So I stuffed the back of our SUV with a fully loaded 680 at the time, which was replaced by the 700, and
right.
started filming some videos and doing some testing and some R&D and just kind of just cooking, right? And that kind of morphed into my role now, which is still a lot of the same thing. I mean, I go to work and I cook every day, and maybe it's testing new products and helping the team make something better, make it easier, make it more efficient. Trying to break it. How do you think like a customer? And I remember, oh, this was so bad. I remember at the old warehouse we were testing bullseyes, and we're like just trying to get like the worst grease fire ever to see if we could just melt the grill. Like, can we burn this thing to the ground? And we're putting bacon and butter, and like we can't get this thing to light. And like finally it's personal at this point. Like we have literally put everything under the sun. We ended up putting like kerosene in this grill, which again, don't do. And we got that thing just stupid hot, and I mean, it didn't melt. It worked. I mean, we didn't cook any food on it after that, of course, but like, I mean, it worked fine. And now the same thing. It's how can we make it better for the customers and really work on it. So a lot of times our staff R&D some grills. So, we've got, like I said, the newer bullseyes, the bullseye X's that we just released. Staff had those for about 3 to 4 months, and they're cooking on them and testing them and putting them through their rigor. And the 1070, a lot of our influencers tested for us. So again, it's people that grill day in day out. What do you think of it? Like, how can we make it better? And that sort of stuff. And it's cool.
Right. So no new grills coming out. We've already got all the new ones. What about the coolers?
Well, there's always new stuff coming. Just I can't tell you exactly when.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still got the RecTeq icers, so roto-tooled coolers. We've expanded our lineup when it comes to like retail stuff. So, we've got smaller bags of pellets. We have 18-pound bags of mesquite, apple, and cherry pellets. We've got 20-pound bags for our ultimate blend, which is red oak, white oak, and hickory. It's a perfect blend of pellets to use. And the smaller bags came about by a need. So we have a lot of older customers. Lifting a 40-pound bag of pellets is harder to do. So an 18 or a 20-pound bag is a lot easier for them to lift and maneuver. So, that was born out of a necessity. And we really want to become kind of like the barbecue destination stop, if you will. So we've got some customized knives in retail. We've got disposable cutting boards. We've got new sauces, new swag. I mean, some beautiful Eddie Bauer jackets keep me nice and warm out here in the brisk South Carolina winter here. I think it's like 60. It's beautiful.
So talk about these sauces, a little bit about these sauces you've got.
Yeah, so we released these RecTeq Fest. Delicious. Yeah, they're good. They're really good. So we've got a like an Alabama white sauce. It's Ashley Brown, one of our sales managers. It's named after him. It's really, really good. White sauce for me sometimes are either really good or really bad. And older customers, Roddy Trevino. You know what, Rob? Be nice to your dad, okay? Probably, one of the more interesting things, we've got a mustard sauce, the Shoot Yeah mustard sauce, and our graphic designer, you jump on the website and check them out. Go to recteq.com. Our graphic designer, our art director, Matt Costa, has way too much fun with this. So he made like caricatures of our staff on these bottles, and they represent these guys to a T. And Harry, our shipping manager, it's kind of a more of a molasses-based barbecue sauce. It's got a good bit of smoke to it. It's really thick, really dark, and like I said, it's just the artwork on the bottles alone. I mean, the sauces are fantastic, but like the artwork on the bottle, because again, these guys, you see them day in, day out. It's really funny. But he pulled a good prank on him, and Harry, our shipping manager, had drew him looking like Eeyore, and he was convinced he was going to be like Eeyore of Winnie the Pooh on the bottle, and he was not happy about it, but it looked. Next time you're around, I'll show you the original draft of that. It was so funny. Awesome. So funny. Yeah, but just trying to give people, more options and, be more of that one-stop shop for barbecue. And there's more stuff coming down the pipeline, and we'll keep kind of rolling out new products and being more of that barbecue destination. Because there's folks that drive in, I won't say we're on the way to Florida, but people will drive down from the Midwest and make a 3-hour detour to come hang out for a little bit, eat some food. We have a playground on property. The kids can run around and stretch their legs. And, when people pull up into the warehouse for the first time, they are really blown away at how big it is. And it's literally like Disneyland for dads. I mean, there's grills and all their, stuff smoking on the deck, and, it's just fun, so. And
I'll tell you what, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to get to know a lot of y'all, right? I know a good bit of you guys at RecTeq, and just, it's been like every time you walk in there, like you see Matt and he's like, "What's up?" I mean, like I get to know all these people, and you, I mean, and everybody is so just real, right? Like there's you don't see this. I mean, because RecTeq is a huge company now, right? Like y'all are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But the people are so down to earth. If you are in town, go see RecTeq.
This is hysterical. So my son is a senior, so he's going off to college next year. It makes me feel old, right? So we were down in date. I know, right?
Mine's going to turn 12 tomorrow. My oldest turned 12 tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're gonna blink, be buying cars, college, like, and then before you know it, like some dude's gonna pull up in a pickup truck to take your youngest on a date. Like that's not going over very well. Like, no, not gonna happen. So we were down in Daytona. We were at Embry-Riddle. My son, we were going on a college visit down there at their aeronautical school, and like this guy keeps like looking at me, and I'm like, the hell is this guy looking at me for? I'm not wearing any RecTeq stuff. I mean, we literally we go to this same RV park down in the area. We were out there camping and having a great time, and I'm like looking at my wife Julie. I said, "What is this guy's deal? Like, why is he like he's staring at you, me?" Like, and Isaac my oldest was wearing some goofy shoes, and I was like, "Is he looking at him? He looks like a clown. Like, what's going on?" So then, like, his wife walks over and she was like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And we're like, "Okay, like, what's going on?" She's like, "Are you Chef Greg?" And I was like, "Oh my God." So the guy like would not come over and say hello. And I was like, I'm just a guy who's to grill some food, right? But no, he
Yeah.
wouldn't come over and talk to me. And I was like, all right, cool. And it was really funny is they ended up splitting the kids from like the engineering and the aeronautical kids. So their family went one way, we went the other, but it was really funny. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like we're just people that cook food. That's all it is. Like,
Yeah.
just have some fun.
And just love it. Right. Like,
Yeah.
that's what makes, to me, that's what made RecTeq so good during all that. When it blew up, y'all were just a bunch of guys cooking food, having a great time doing it and videoing it.
Yeah. And that's where it started. I mean, like Ray, one of our co-founders, same thing. I mean, he was just, he made it a personal mission for him that, Facebook did, he had more friends on Facebook than RecTeq did back in the early days. And like, it rubbed him the wrong way. And he was like, no, like, we're going to make this a thing. And, when Facebook started their live stuff, him and Jody, day one, the first day you were allowed to go live on Facebook, they're cooking hamburgers, right?
Yep.
And they didn't know what was, they didn't know what was going on or how it worked, but they're like, we're going to figure it out. And that's really what we've done, or I'll say they've done since day one, is just figured it out, figure out how we can do it, make it better, get the message out to the people. And now the cool part is we have, all of our friends and family out there to do it for us that, a lot of folks that buy a grill, maybe they're not the best cooks out there. And, you go over to their house and eat something, you're like, there's no way you made this. They're like, yeah, well, actually I did. And by the way, it looks cool as hell because it's got horns. Right. So.
And that's, that's what's so cool is, I mean, and the other thing I wanted to get into tonight, and I know we're running out of time, but we've talked in the past how y'all didn't really care to necessarily get into the competition world. You wanted to really take over the backyard. And y'all have done an amazing job of that. But I haven't been to a contest yet, no matter where I go, that you don't see RecTeq as part of the arsenal on Cook's teams. So what's going on there? What'd y'all do?
I think a lot of people just realized, and you can make great barbecue on anything, right? Like, I mean, I saw people cooking turkeys on trash cans, over the holiday. So, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. So, but the hard part about competition barbecue, and the one thing that really, lured me into the company and the product, was the precision and the consistency. So for me, I was doing a lot of, CVAP, controlled vapor ovens for cooking, a lot of sous vide technology, a lot of really precise temperature control. At this point, like induction stoves were just, I mean, really precise cooking appliances for the professional chef. So to have a PID controller, that cooking in a barbecue, like, come on now, really? It makes sense because you know how it is. I mean, sometimes, if the humidity's up or the wind's up or, it's damp or it's cold, or if you have a breeze, it makes like a huge difference. Not so much with ours, especially if you're replicating a cook from time to time. You can have the same results each and every time. And that's one thing I think, especially, and I'll pick on chicken. If there's a lot of volatility in degree of doneness, it's chicken, right? Like, it's either a little under, right at it, or a little over. But very rarely can you get the same consistency on chicken cook after cook. It's just nature of how that protein works. I think we have some of the best chicken cooks in the country, right? I mean, in Texas and in the CBA, the Champion Barbecue Alliance, with their half birds, and I know the rules are changing a little bit, but I would say the majority of those winning chickens were cooked on a bullseye. Like, our most affordable grill is cooking chicken that's winning event after event. Right. Carrie Chastain, hashtag I can't cook chicken, has absolutely been slapping chicken in the face for the better part of a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. And I'm not going to, I mean, Carrie's a great cook and he's a better friend, but like, using the RecTeq gave him the ability to be a little more consistent, and that could give him more time to focus in on maybe it's more challenging meats like, the ribs and brisket and pork, and know that he doesn't have to worry about what's going on. Mark Witherall with Maya Jane, man, I wish he would cook on all of our grills, because when he does, he just does better. So again, same thing, like, he cooks on drums and that's cool. Like, love you for it. I don't think I'm a skilled enough cook to try to cook a KCBS, event on drums, but I mean, I can fake my way through a KCBS event on these grills and not completely embarrass myself in the company, because the grill does all the work. Like,
well, it's funny. I mean, you talk about drums, right? There's a lot of drum cooks that have RecTeqs.
Yeah.
Beside them.
Well, when it goes
What's the
south,
reason?
what do you do? I mean, I look at it like this. Like I was joking around. I know, and I'll pick on Mark. You know, when he first picked up a grill, he's like, "Well, I don't really know if I'm going to use it, this and that." I'm like, "Cool, just set it to 300 and leave it there. If you need it, it's at 300, and if you don't, great. Like you can make
Yeah.
breakfast. If all else, you can have some really good biscuits for breakfast." And it got to a point where I mean, he's just juggling drums, and that's a challenge. And he was like, the temp spiked and this and that. He's like, "Nope, take it off right on the RecTeq." And he was like, "Cool, I have no problem with that." I mean, one of our teams,
Same way.
people cook on Jambos and use our grills. Jambos are probably one of the more expensive pits out there on circuit. They're gorgeous and they're great. There's a place for them, but not everybody can afford it or have the means to travel with it. And at the end of the day, does it make better food? I don't think so. Right? Like you could buy 12 of our grills for what the price of a Jambo
Right.
is.
What I
Not
love about them is they give you the versatility to do whatever you need to do. I mean,
Mhm.
I have mine there all the time, and it's like you said, you get up in the morning,
Yeah.
all the grills started, and you fire up your RecTeq because
Yeah.
you can. There's so many things that you can do with a RecTeq that I
Mhm.
mean, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, I know you're partially joking about making biscuits and everything. Makes
Mhm.
incredible biscuits and
Everything.
bread and everything else, right? And like so, you got it
Mhm.
going, and then well, hell, just keep it rolling, just keep it going, and now all of a sudden, if something's
Mhm.
behind, throw it on the RecTeq. If something's
Yep.
ahead, you can slow it down. It's just easier to
Mhm.
control than anything else out there. And like
Yep.
to me, what I think is funny is you see and I'm going to say red tips because you don't really see many. That's what's out there right now. Like y'all have
But I
done a
also don't think if you look at the construction of the products and we travel with a camper a good bit, and the roads around here suck. So I
right,
mean, you are getting thrashed on the road. That camper is all over the place.
yep,
So again, our product is built strong enough that when you get to that contest and you've driven through 714 potholes to get there, it's going to look just like it looked when you left. Right.
right.
And I've seen pictures of competitor stuff where they've literally crumbled, like just from driving to the event, let alone like I know this was probably a year or two ago. Kerry picked up another bullseye and had it in the back of his truck. The grill flipped out of the bed of the truck, like bounced down the highway, and he picked it up. The lid had a dent in the top.
You
He
wouldn't
took a
cook the
contest.
contest.
Like it, and you know what? And I was like, cool, man. Like next time I see you, we'll swap it out for you. He's like, hell no, little Scrappy's coming with me. He still has it. Like it's the grill on his deck. He uses that to grill at his house, like all the time.
Yep,
Like so, little Scrappy's got scars, but it ain't going anywhere. And there's
no,
times where I've seen grills, legs just, I mean, just there's nothing left, and that's one cool thing with us is in the 13 years we've been building grills, we've never had one fail or fall apart, and that's the cool part is they've never gotten cheap, right? It's always about how can we make it better. Like who says that? Like what company says, hey, let's spend more money and make it better? And that's pretty cool because they
and keep the
they
price the same, right? Like I mean, you're
yeah.
not really going up on the prices and on that much. It's
No,
amazing.
no. Yeah,
You
we
know,
just had to go up on pellets a little bit, and one guy was like, "Oh, you got more expensive," and I'm like, "We haven't had a price and pellet increase, I think, ever. Like
right?
they were always $20 a bag for a local pickup for a 40-pound bag of pellets, and now they're $25, and it's like it's still cheaper than propane by a lot. You
A
know what I
lot.
mean? Like charcoal, you can't even. They're not on the same spreadsheet. But yeah, I mean the prices of the grills have been basically the same for the last 3.5 years, which is unbelievable. I mean, but we've also got great partners that with all that. So I mean, it there's a lot of people that make that happen. So it's cool.
You know, one of the coolest things we just had our contest, right? And Richard made a comment. There was a lot of them at
Hmm.
our contest, the Atlanta Barbecue School Classic. We had a lot, and we had quite a few new teams cooking there.
That's cool.
And I want to say most of the new teams all were cooking on RecTeqs.
Yeah, and even like the Pit Vipers team, I know they do
Yeah,
backyard, but there's a bunch of high schoolers that are cooking on. And I don't know exactly what they have in the lineup, but they cook on RecTex, and
yeah,
amazing group of kids, and their instructor and their pit master, I
Tom
guess if
Philly.
you want to call him. Just I mean, super great people, and they've brought life to that community, and those kids are going to grow up and want to cook barbecue, right? Like that's what's it about. At the end of the day, for me, it's not about, the trophies and the awards and the accolades and this and that. It's about breaking bread with your friends and cooking barbecue. And at the end of the day, if we could make barbecue more affordable and events and stuff like that, like cool. Like I think I'm all for it. Because that's the fun part about, it's having the burnt chili dogs on a Friday night, or, Mama Dean's, breakfast on Saturdays, or the strawberry ice cream. That's my memories of these barbecue events that we've done over the years. It's not, the American Royal you have to experience. And like, if, I was up there last year and, walking around the infield and you see these teams, and there were RecTeqs everywhere. And it was like, we saw like old, like generation ones. And it's like, man, like how old is this thing? And we're looking at serial numbers, and it's like, and the guy's like, man, that thing's been through, the war, and it cooks amazing food. And that's the fun part, is you get to meet these people, and like Jim with Irwin's Pit Crew and the Smoking Elvises, and all these people that you never would have met if it wasn't for a cool grill with horns like that. That's crazy.
It's just, we always talk on the show, Atlanta Barbecue Store. We always talk about barbecue family and how important barbecue family is. And I mean, and you see it firsthand. Like, if you've ever done these academies, if you've ever done anything, it's a group. Like the academies that we've taught or whatever, we still get messages from people that were doing that. I mean, it's like, and it's just a bond that never goes away. And it's been really cool.
Yeah, we've got we had again, not to like be out like sad stories, but like our, co-founder Ray was on the internet, and some lady was posting a picture about her grill and asking, recipes. I guess her husband had just passed, and they have 2 younger kids. And, he flew her and a friend out to attend an academy class, hotel, flight, paid for everything. This lady was like, still mourning, is months later, obviously. And, we get to teach her how to cook barbecue. And she's like a deer in the headlights Thursday night, Saturday. She's like, what the hell did I get into? But when we were slicing brisket on Friday, there was an aha moment. She was actually on Carrie's team. She, I think, Facebook messaged him or FaceTimed him about 2 weeks after the class. Hey, this is my brisket. Does it look right? Do I need to trim a little bit more here? Like, this lady's never cooked a brisket before. She's never smoked before. Like, but now she gets to cook with her kids, and they get to remember their dad, with his grill. Like that's where it's at. You know what I mean? So that's the fun part.
That's what it's all about. I mean, that's barbecue as a whole, right? Like, take RecTeq out of it, take everything out of it.
Yep.
Barbecuing, cooking, getting around and cooking meat and talking and hanging out and having a good time is what it's all about.
Yep. And we did a bunch of turkeys and stuff for the local food bank here in town. We cooked, I think it was 60 turkeys one day. And then I guess Toys for Tots was doing something else. We did another, I think, 60 birds for them as well. So it's just trying to get back to your community and show appreciation where you can. And, thankfully, we've got enough, grills on the deck that we can cook some good food. So, if we can help, we can. And
they've got you.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Like I said, if someone's going to pay me to cook some food, like, I'm having a great day. So, we support a local elementary school in the area. We're going to deliver a bunch of hams to them in a couple weeks, so they'll show up tomorrow. And yeah, it's good times. I mean, you got to give back. I mean, you guys know we do a lot of your charity work as well, and you got to be able to give back to the community that supports you guys so much.
I mean, that's one thing that we've learned, especially being able to do this classic, is giving back and just seeing what it does. And it's just, I mean, especially this time of year, man, holy smokes, people need it so much right now. If you can do anything to give back to your local charities or whatever,
anything. Yep.
It's a great time to practice, practice something, try it out. And then, hey, give it to your food bank, and then they can do wonderful things with it. But well, Tim, good night. Good to see you, buddy. It was great having you on. But man, just it's just so cool. This time of year, don't forget all those in need and everything else. I mean, that's one thing that Greg has been amazing with. Great friend of mine. It's been a lot of fun. I love calling him up and just saying, hey, what's going on with cooking? What can I try new? It's kind of fun. But well, is there anything else? How can people get in touch with you if they want to?
Yeah, so you can shoot me an email, chefgreg@recteq.com. Definitely give us a follow on Facebook. Instagram, there's always live stuff, fun stuff going on. If anybody's in the neighborhood or in the market for a grill, or your friends and family are, we got some great sales going on still right now. I think they're going on for another day or two. So if you are in the market, I mean, the season of savings is here, so you can save up to 20% on products and stuff like that. So I would say go for it, because there's no point waiting until the summer, because you can grill some great food year round right here. But Roddy Trevino, what's up, man? Good to see you in here.
But especially with the pellet grills are easy, right? You just go out there, hit a button. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how cold it is outside. That's
So
what you're on a. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Like the 1070 is my wife's grill. Like I can't cook on it. I've got to make sure it's clean. It's got pellets on it. But she made all of our pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving. She made a chili tonight. She put the Dutch oven on there and made chili, and it was amazing, right? So I probably need to put more pellets in there, because she's been using a lot the last couple of days. But there was no way I would get her to light a ceramic grill or like light the gas grill. It wasn't going to happen, And when we first got Wi-Fi a couple of years ago, she would send me a text, "Hey, you can turn the grill on to whatever temperature." I'm like, "You're too lazy to walk like 45 feet from like the kitchen out here." I'm like, "I'll turn it on for you." So
I
now
got you.
that's the only grill that's not connected to my kind of app. Like I've got all the
Right.
grills on the deck. I think I've got about 40 grills on my app. That's the only one I don't have control of, because that's her grill. So
Sure.
yeah, if she can cook on it, and she does a great job with it, I mean, anybody can, and she enjoys it. It's easy, you know what I mean? So and the pumpkin pie was delicious. So yeah,
That's
good
awesome.
times.
Well, good. Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on. I hated that I've taken so long to have you back on. I love these shows because I get to learn so much, and it's always fun to have you on. But thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Well,
Appreciate everything.
absolutely. Well, you guys have a great holiday season, and check us out at recteq.com. And yeah, man, have a good one. And at least you got how many weeks till baseball season starts back? You got a
I was
countdown yet?
I was late getting on the show because I was coming back from baseball.
Are they still
So
playing?
no practice. Starting, Greg, it's never ending. So now it used to just be Monday nights. Now it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, whatever. It is
See,
what it
but
is.
in a couple of years, like they can drive themselves, and then you're off the hook. It's
You
great.
know,
That's the best part. That's the best part when Isaac was driving. He'd go to lacrosse and soccer, and we didn't have to drive anywhere. Like just go. It was
just
great.
show up when you want. But it's like you
Yeah,
said earlier, they grow up so fast.
yeah.
Do everything. We do everything we can to
Hmm.
spend as much time with them because it's
Oh
amazing
yeah,
how fast they grow up.
no doubt, no
And you got
doubt.
one in college almost. So yeah,
Dude, it's
Cole's birthday
brutal.
is tomorrow. Cole's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be
there we
12 years
go.
old tomorrow.
That's nuts, man.
The
Quick,
old the
quick.
old world champ.
There
So
you
anyway,
go.
Greg, so while we got a little bit of people on, is there any little thing you want to throw out there about RecTeq? Any deals that anybody can find out about here, or can we not talk
Yeah,
about
I
that?
mean, season of savings is going on. Jump over to rectech.com. You can check it out right there. The biggest thing is, if you're not in the
Mailing.
if you're not ready to purchase right now, sign up for the newsletter. Scroll on the bottom of any webpage, put your email address in there. We don't bombard people with emails, but again, if when the time is right, we probably have a good deal for you as well. Worst case scenario, just come by and check us out. If you're within, I'd say, 3 hours of us, it's worth a ride just to come over, eat some food, lift the lid, kick the tires, if you will, and see what we're working with. Because I guarantee we'll probably put a grill in the back of your vehicle when you leave. So
I mean, I've
it
left
just
so many
happens
a
like
grill.
that. It just happens like that.
It's
But
just
appreciate you
you
having
don't
us.
know what happens. All of a sudden, you're like, man, I got two grills in my back of my truck. What just happened?
Yeah,
I
they
love it.
just
It's great.
it just fits.
It
But
just
definitely appreciate you having me on again, and we'll get on there. Maybe next time we'll have some food too. That'd be a
maybe
good one.
next time we can do a demonstration.
There we go. Absolutely. Sign me up for that one.
Perfect, buddy. Y'all have a great night, everybody. Y'all enjoy it. Make sure you get ready for the holidays and have a great time. We will see you next week on Chewin the BBQ Fat. Y'all have a good
Later, guys.
week.